Okay, now I'm testing this now. For caption, can you hear me when I speak through the microphone? Great. Can I pause it and start again so the real recording doesn't have that on the beginning? Hello and welcome to the online orientation to the Trauma Prevention and Recovery Certificate. First of all, what do we mean by the term trauma? Trauma includes the emotional and psychological wounds caused by deeply disturbing experiences. In this certificate, our focus is on psychosocial trauma, the thoughts and feelings that arise from surviving a terrible experience, or the relationships and interactions and how they are affected. It's not so much the kind of trauma you might treat in an emergency room of a hospital, such as a burn trauma, although we would be interested in the long-term emotional and psychological wounds that result after a burn. We are looking at both short-term and long-term effects, and we are looking at trauma in individuals, families, groups, and communities. Trauma often results as a result of violence, disaster, car crashes, and other unexpected tragedies. Here's a quote from a student. When you are in a community role, even as a peer educator or an outreach worker, people are going to come up to you and just divulge stuff, share their trauma. You need to be prepared for it. You need to face your own issues, your own stereotypes and biases. You just need to learn to be stronger, to help someone else. So this training is necessary. It kind of gives a student view on what the benefit of the certificate is. Our certificate is interdisciplinary in nature. It includes classes from child development, women's studies, health education, and interdisciplinary studies, which is our home department. Some of the benefits to the certificate include that it may help you in getting or keeping a job in human services related to trauma. The units transfer to the CSU and some to the UC system, so it could support your educational pathway. Some courses count towards other CCSF certificates, City College of San Francisco certificates, such as sexual health or the Child Development Department certificates. Some of the reasons to get the certificate would be to enhance knowledge of trauma before applying to a related bachelor's or master's degree program, such as a bachelor's in social work, master's in social work counseling, or master's in public health. To enhance your ability to work in the field of trauma response or violence prevention, regardless of whether you continue on to a higher education degree, either in your current job or a future one. This certificate teaches you about diverse forms of violence, many including the causes of it or the risk factors. It teaches you about different approaches to prevention and intervention, as well as the effects of violence and other kinds of trauma. Peer counseling and client-centered skills for working with victims and survivors are taught in this certificate, along with resources and referrals, how to provide them, which ones are available, especially here in the Bay Area. You would also gain a deeper understanding of violence and trauma, including historical, political, and aesthetic dimensions, as well as gaining self-awareness and self-care approaches. The courses in the certificate include Child Development 100, Violence and its Impact on Children and Their Families, IDST 47, Trauma in the Arts and Interdisciplinary Approach, Women's Studies 54, The Politics of Sexual Violence, Health Education 48, Violence as a Public Health Issue, and Health 38, Trauma Response and Recovery, as well as 3 units of electives for a total of 18 units. The electives were selected to build skills in specific areas depending on your particular interest. Criminal justice, such as Administration of Justice 59 or 64, children and youth, elders, community health, psychology and trauma, work and community experience, anti-oppression work, and storytelling for healing. You'll see there's a selection of different electives that match each of these skill areas. We also did a review of what jobs are available in this field, as many people want to know what kind of job can I get with this certificate. You should know that this certificate is not a requirement for practically any job. It's not like a nursing degree where you need to be a nurse to work as a nurse. You need to have a nursing degree to work as a nurse. It is more like a certificate that will enhance your chances to get a job, do the job well, and maintain the job. Common titles that relate to the trauma certificate are case manager, coordinator, and counselors. About 2/3 of the jobs we looked at, and we looked at over 100 job listings, are full-time jobs. The wages range mostly between $12 and $20 an hour, and the employers are nonprofit organizations, public agencies, and schools. Some of the desired qualifications that were common to these job listings was knowledge of cultural competency and community resources, skills in communication, customer service, organizational skills and problem solving, computer skills, and an ability to establish rapport. Some of the skills listed were specifically related to trauma, that is, skills working with survivors, skills working with foster children, that kind of thing. Many of the jobs prefer someone who is bilingual, and in many cases that would be bilingual in Spanish, although other languages have also been sought on some of these jobs for jobs in various communities of the Bay Area. Some of the desired qualifications also include knowledge of public benefits, knowledge of abuse and trauma, substance abuse, child welfare, Head Start programs, curriculum development, group facilitation, interviewing methods, self and peer support, screening patients, social rehabilitation, and CPR and first aid. Some of these skills are taught in trauma certificate courses, some might be taught in electives, and some you might have to acquire in the community directly. Previous experience is strongly preferred for most jobs and required for many. Types of experience mentioned included experience with high-risk populations, experience working with children or youth in groups or institutions, experience working with elderly or with handling data and office work, experience in a nonprofit setting, experience with some of the specific job tasks required for the job, and knowledge of Medi-Cal EPS-DT documentation and experience doing that. Now some of these things, again, you might acquire some experience through service learning in the courses. You might need to also do additional volunteer work or paid work in the community to build your skill set. Employers who were contacted by phone, about 40 human resource departments at local agencies that listed jobs available, they were generally favorable to the certificate. 17 found the certificate quite useful when applying for jobs. They said the certificate could offset a lack of experience, work experience, but not substitute for a bachelor's degree. 20 found that the certificate was somewhat useful, and 3 found the certificate not useful to the jobs they post. Human resources departments also said that the certificate would provide candidates with beneficial knowledge to work with sensitive cases. It would be helpful for their direct service jobs, such as working with the homeless or with abuse cases, and it could give a job candidate an edge when competing against others at the same educational level. Do you have more questions about the certificate? We welcome your questions. You may contact us through the City College of San Francisco website at ccsf.edu/trauma. The Interdisciplinary Studies Department also has a blog at ccsfidstdepartment.wordpress.com. Thank you very much, and we look forward to hearing from you.